Hi everyone, this is Kruti Jaivancholi, Assistant Professor in LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in Department of Electronics and Communication. This video is about subject Analog and Digital Communication System. So friends, in the last video we learned about the FM demodulation. So you know that the FM demodulation, it is divided into the two categories. One is the direct method and other one that is the indirect method. So now here as we know that FM demodulation, direct, indirect, the direct method that are the slope detector, balanced slope detector that we learned in the last video. Now today in this video, we will learn about the other two methods of the FM demodulation, that are Foster-Seeley phase discriminator. The other name is the Foster-Seeley discriminator, and it will be discriminating by the phase. So people can say that as the phase discriminator also. It is the ratio detector also. So these two methods that are also with the direct FM category, and the indirect method that is the phase lock loop. Okay, so now here the FM in. Okay, so FM in, that is the input for our demodulator. Okay, so now that FM output that is given to the d by dt. Okay, now the output of this differentiator, that is what? So it provides us the amplitude variations, that is the YAM. So we are identifying the amplitude variations by having the phase difference. So this can be also known as the tuned amplifier also. Okay, and this tuned amplifier which acts as a phase discriminator, this output is given to the envelope detector, and this envelope detector will detecting the amplitude variations, and it produces us the envelope of the information signal, that is what it's a MT. So this way we can have the output signal, input signal, okay, your MT signal, that is by having this method. So this is what we are doing with the Foster-Seeley phase discriminator, which consists of the tune amplifier, the envelope detector like system, okay, and we can have the original signal. So now the Foster-Seeley phase discriminator. This is the diagram of the Foster-Seeley discriminator. There is a Foster-Seeley discriminator which consists of the two parts in the circuit diagram. The first part that you can see, okay, that's what? So it's the phase discriminator. Okay, so the first portion, that is what? So up to this the C2, okay, it is what? It's a phase discriminator. And over here, this circuit having the two half. So upper half, that is the balanced slope detector which we studied earlier, and it is what? It is again the balanced slope detector. Now here both transformer that is connected, okay, the primary winding, the secondary winding, the L1 and the L2 you can see. So both are tuned at the center frequency FC. Okay, so both tuned at the FC. And now whatever the secondary, it is connected with the center tap, and it is divided into the two parts. So the A and B portion that you can see in the diagram. Okay, so now both the primary and the secondary are tuned at the same center frequency, and the voltage applied to the two diodes D1 and D2 are not constant. As you have seen, the balanced slope detector circuit with some changes that we have used over here, and it will be better linearity compared to the slope detector. The Cp is the coupling capacitor and the C4, that is the bypass capacitor. Okay, so now it will bypasses the resistance R4, and the R4 that is much more greater than the Xc4, and therefore the voltage across that the RFC will be equal to the input voltage D1. So we can say that the VRFC is equal to V1. Now, it can be also proven that the secondary voltage which appeared at the secondary terminal. Okay, now as I said, it is divided equally into the upper half and the lower half, as we have seen in the diagram. So now there would be the phase shift, okay, between the primary and the secondary, okay, and that phase shift that depends on to the applied frequency. So now here we are dividing the operation into the two parts. Okay, here I have again redrawn the circuitry. Okay, and here we can see that how the voltage that is divided into the upper half and the lower half, and how the phase shift, okay, that will be appear for the two particular the half. Okay, so output voltage of the phase discriminator, that is what, that's a phase difference, that's a difference between the output of the two diode rectifier. So now here what is my output? My output at the output terminal, it's a VA dash B dash. Now while it is divided, the upper half that is the positive one and the negative lower half, that's a negative one. So now when you will find out the VA dash B dash, it's a what? It's a difference between the upper half that is positive, so it is the VA dash 0, okay, or O, minus the lower half that is the VB dash O. Okay, so now as the diode drops are known, okay, we cannot calculate the output exactly. So, but it is sure that the output will be proportional to the applied voltage to the D1 and D2, and output voltage that depends on what? So that is the frequency. Okay, so you can say that the output voltage VA dash B dash, that is proportional, okay, so that to that V0. Okay, but what is that VA dash B dash? It's a VA0 minus VB0. Okay, so this way we have the output voltage that is at the F in is equal to FC, while you two tuned exactly at the center frequency. So at that time, as I said that it is divided, okay, that is a 90-degree phase shift between the two voltage upper half and the lower half. So you can see that the blue line that shows the primary voltage, this is what? It is the input voltage to the D1. This is the input voltage to the D2. The voltage is equally halved between the two. So VAB by 2, VAB by 2. Okay, so this way the VAB, VAO and VBO, okay, that we have, while the output voltage is the Fin is equal to FC. Now when the Fin is greater than FC, okay, that is output voltage when it is Fin greater than FC, then what? Then we can say that the input voltage to the D1, that is higher compared to the input voltage to the D2, and we get the more phase shift for that. So as you can see that the VAO, VBO, okay, and again here we are getting the voltage value that is VAB by 2, and other is the VBO divided by 2. Now the next, Fin less than FC. When Fin less than FC, the input to the diode D1 that is less compared to the diode D2. So now here you can see the phasor diagram, that how we are getting the lesser output at the VA0 compared to the VB0, and you can draw the primary voltage. Okay, so this is about the method in which we have the phase shift, and out of the phase shift we can identify, we can have the change in the amplitude of the diode D1 and the diode D2. Okay, so it is much easier to design as there are now tuned circuit, okay, and are tuned to the same frequency. Okay, linearity, that is quite better. Okay, and it relies on what? Onto the frequency. Okay, on the primary secondary phase relationship, that is again the quite linear. Only the problem is what? That is the provision of the amplitude limiting. Okay, so now this is the transfer curve for the Foster Seeley discriminator. Okay, so now you can see that in the first case, while the Fin is equal to Fc, beyond which the output falls due to the frequency response, okay, of the transformer. Okay, and here you can see that the useful range, okay, extends up to the half power point or the tuned transformer. So here in the diagram you can see that, okay, that the useful range, okay, that's very limited. Okay, so that is only the problem of the Foster Seeley phase discriminator. Okay, and by discriminating the phase, even we can tell about the change in the phase, and we can have the original signal. So this is about the Foster Seeley phase discriminator. The other method. This method is almost similar to the Foster Seeley discriminator. There is no more change. Only slight the change is provided in the Foster Seeley discriminator, and in the output side there is a capacitor that is connected for just improving the amplitude limiting problem. Okay, so this is the thing with the ratio detector, or else it is simply same as the ratio detector. So ratio detector demodulator is modified version of the Foster Seeley circuit in order to incorporate the amplitude limiting. So this is the thing that you need to remember. So in the Foster Seeley discriminator, the sum of the voltage is what? The upper half voltage VA0, the lower half voltage, that is a VB0. So that should be remain constant, and their difference should vary due to the variation in the input frequency. Okay, so input frequency change, the phase change, due to that we found the change in the amplitude variations, and out of that we are having the slope, and that's nothing but my input signal. So here you can see this diagram. This diagram that is exactly similar to the diagram which we studied about the Foster Seeley discriminator, and you can see that this is what it is, the capacitance connected over here. This capacitance C9 that is used to improve the response, okay, of the ratio detector. So amplitude limiting response that can be increased by using this capacitance, that is the C1, or else this diagram that is again equally is earlier. So the major changes that we provided in case of the ratio detector, that is the diode 2 is reverse bias. The second is the large value of the capacitor C3 that is included, and the output is taken somewhere else. Okay, so the ratio detector output is equal to the half the difference between the output voltages from the individual diodes. Okay, again you know that the secondary is there which is dividing the voltage equally between the upper half and the lower half. Okay, so now in the Foster Seeley discriminator, the amplitude of the output that is varying according to the change in the input signal, and the discriminator circuit that is modified to provide the amplitude limiting or the incoming signal, okay, which will be termed as the ratio detector. Okay, the ratio detector is almost same as the Foster-Seeley. Okay, and as I said that these are the large capacitor C9 that is connected across the output voltage of the two diode, and the output voltage, okay, of the detector that is taken between the point P and Q. Okay, so the primary and the secondary circuits are tuned to carrier frequency, and C3 is the coupling capacitor, and L3 that's the RFC element. So the generated frequency output voltages, okay, are the applied to the diode D1 and D2, and the capacitor C9 that is having the higher value, that is around the 10 microfarad. Okay, so it will be charged up to the highest value, that's a 10 microfarad. Okay, and voltage across the secondary, that is the L2. Okay, and due to this larger time constant, what it will do, it will store the value, it will hold the value for the highest particular time. So this effect of any amplitude variations due to the noise and the other interference is minimal on the charge of the capacitors C9, and voltage that remain constant. So additional limiter circuit is not required as we have put the capacitors of the large value. Okay, and since the output voltage is not affected by the amplitude variations in the incoming signal. Okay, so when the diode D1 that conducts more than the T2, the V01 that will be exit. So we have seen the Foster-Seeley phasor diagram. When the V01 exit, what happened? That phase shift that is increases. Okay, similarly the other input to the diode, okay, that increases, that find the some phase differences. So V01 exits to the V02, and resulting the sum of this voltage as constant, thus the output voltage is negative, and therefore in this circuit the sum of the voltages V01 and V02. In the Foster-Seeley we write the VAO and VBO. Okay, here V01 and V02 that always remain constant, but the ratio that changes depending on the signal frequency, and that is why the name of this detector, that is the ratio detector. So this way we have the easy of limiting. You can also detect the signal very easily using all these method of the FM demodulation. So thank you very much everyone.